breaking news. The Philadelphia Eagles have signed Dallas Goedert to a 1-year deal, bringing him back to the city of brotherly love. And there's a lot of implications to that move and why it's so significant for the Philadelphia Eagles. First off, let's just say congratulations to Dallas Goedert. Got a deal done. And it shows that he potentially just didn't want to leave Philadelphia in the first place. I think he understands that maybe the grass is greener on the other side. And maybe, perhaps more than anybody else, he kind of understands the gravity of what's going on in the Eagles locker room and the implications with A.J. Brown's trade being imminent at some point in this offseason. And he says, hey, you know what? There's only going to be so many targets to go around. I'm in the place that I'm familiar with. This is home. I've been here my whole career. And while, yes, we've had contract disputes, I know for damn sure I'm going to get the ball in Philadelphia. And we saw that based on the career high in touchdowns just last season, albeit most of them were in goal line situations, about 8 of them. But a career high in touchdowns for Dallas Goedert last season. So he knows he's going to get the ball. And not to mention the fact that this new Sean Mannion offense, we know, is a stem from Green Bay and that West Coast type of offense. I call it the Midwest offense because I don't think it's going to be fully the West Coast offense. But nonetheless, it's a very tight end friendly offense. It's an offense that uses the middle of the field. And I mean, think about all the offenses that use or think about all the offenses in the NFL that have this scheme in it. I mean, the San Francisco 49ers, they have George Kittle. They use that. The Atlanta Falcons used it with Zach Robinson and Michael Penix, and they have Kyle Pitts there, who had a pretty decent year last season. Obviously, Tucker Kraft and the Green Bay Packers, who Sean Mannion was coaching with just the year ago. I mean, the Minnesota Vikings use a similar offense, and a couple of years ago, they had TJ Hawkinson. I know he's still there, but he had really big-time success in that offense. Geez, I mean, the point being, I mean, look, Ben Johnson kind of runs a similar, I don't know if they run a similar offense, but you get my point. The point being is it's a tight end friendly offense, and Dallas Goedert knows that. And excuse me. Now that Sean Mannion's going to be in Philadelphia, we know that that's going to be the offense they're going to run, or at least they're going to try to run. And we know this A.J. Brown trade is going to be a when, not if type of situation at this point, considering you signed Dallas Goedert back. And we'll talk about some of the contract implications for that a little bit later in the episode, because there's some significant money that gets to be saved by Philadelphia. Dallas Goedert understands that, hey, I'm going to get my money no matter what. And I know people are looking at it and saying, hey, you know, he didn't get to test the free agent market. Like, what's his agent thinking? Well, look at it from this perspective. If, let's just say, Dallas Goedert didn't sign a 1-year deal with the Philadelphia Eagles and he was going to another team, regardless of where he went, Philadelphia was going to have to pay him $20 million just to be on another team. That is money that's going to Dallas Goedert's pocket. So, in a sense, he's saying, hey, I'm going to get my money no matter what. Whether or not I go somewhere else or if I stay here, the void contracts that are existent on Dallas Goedert's contract is going to be in my pocket at some point. So, whether or not I have to wait for it now or if I have to wait for it a couple of years from now, I'm still going to get that money coming in. And I think that's where Dallas Goedert's mentality was. I think that's where his agent's mentality was. And they're saying, hey, you know what? You take all the time you need, Philadelphia, to go ahead and figure out what you want to do with your contract situation, whether or not you want to bring us back or if you want to let us test the market. Regardless, the client's going to get, my client, if I'm speaking from the agent perspective, he's going to get $20 million minimum from you guys. And then whatever is getting added to it from another contract is just a piece of cake. It's just gravy. It's just sugar on top or a cherry on top of a sundae. So Dallas Goedert was going to get his money regardless. He decided to stay in Philadelphia for another year because, again, it's home. He's been here his whole career in a tight end friendly system. And more likely than not, he's going to get the ball because A.J. Brown at some point is going to get traded in this offseason. Whether or not that's before June 1st or after June 1st is yet to be seen. But that's kind of the implication of this 1 year deal. It's a very, very important signing for us because now you bring back a familiar weapon for Jalen Hurts. You bring him back in a system that is tight end friendly, and at least now you can look at it and say that's a hole that's being filled. We don't have to worry, at least for tight end, for 1 year in Philadelphia. Albeit if he gets hurt, we're always going to assume that injuries play a role here. But I like to play the game of, hey, everybody's healthy right now. Everyone's locked in. No injuries on the lineup. What does the team look like? And that's kind of what my projection is going forward. And with him coming back for the year, it at least fills up that tight end space. We don't have to worry about that, at least for this upcoming season. And that's kind of an important deal. Now, there's other implications, like I said, about this 1 year signing in regards to A.J. Brown and plus previous signings that we just made, like Tariq Woolen, which is a nice signing, by the way. I haven't really talked about that. We'll talk about that briefly after we introduce you to the show. This is the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. I am your host, Asif Body, and like you, I am a Birds fan who talks about the Birds, only the Birds, and nothing but the Philadelphia Eagles. So please do us a favor here. Help us grow this channel organically by shooting this video a thumbs up, commenting your thoughts in the comments section below, and subscribing to the channel. Also, check us out on audio platforms such as Apple Podcasts and Spotify, and leave a 5-star review because in the end, it doesn't cost you a damn thing to go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We appreciate your support on the opposite side of the camera, on the opposite side of the airwaves. Let's talk about the Tariq Woolen signing real quickly. It was a 1 year deal. I think it was for like $11 to $12 million. They have incentives in there that can go up to $15 or $16 million per year. I think it's a really nice signing. It's a good chance signing for the Philadelphia Eagles out, as that's an upgrade at cornerback too. Now, I know people are talking about how he got benched in Seattle, and he was benched by not only Pete Carroll, but by Mike McDonald as well. And is that somebody you really wanted to bring in? Well, listen, some of his best work, Tariq Woolen's work in Seattle, was when Clint Hurt was in Seattle as well. So more likely than not, after this coming season, Vic Fangio's retiring, and the defensive coordinator position is probably going to go to Clint Hurt. I mean, that is just the reality of it. At least that's my gut feeling, I should say. It's not really a reality, but the reality is he's going to retire, Vic Fangio. The defensive coordinator position is going to be vacant. I have a feeling it's going to be Coach Hurt, and he's going to be there with Tariq Woolen potentially, because we may sign him to maybe long-term deal down the road if he plays well. And I have a feeling I don't anticipate him playing worse than Adoree Jackson. And towards the end of last season, Adoree Jackson played okay for us, right? So he's at least an upgrade at cornerback too. You at least now get to keep Cooper DeJean in the slot, and maybe in a base package, you put him at safety now that Reed Blankenship is gone. So there is some versatility here in this lineup, in this defensive back room now. And you still have Quinyon Mitchell, obviously, who's a stud. And at least now you look at it on paper and you say, you know what? Yeah, we have a void at safety at the moment, but we have Coop, we have Q, we have Tariq Woolen. You have Makubo, who's going to come back, who was playing well before his injury. And maybe you bring back Marcus Epps for a year as a veteran presence back there. Again, I think that's okay considering some of the talent that you have in the front seven as well. And you have Vic Fangio coaching you at least for one more season. So a good signing nonetheless. And I mentioned that signing because it affects the cap hit, obviously. So it leads me now to discuss the A.J. Brown trade that's going to be inevitable at some point. Now, it's a matter of when, not necessarily if, in my opinion, anymore. Now, in my previous episode, I talked about how I would have kept A.J. Brown and taking a little bit of a hit with Dallas Goedert these next couple of years. But evidently Philadelphia was saying, you know what? AJ Brown is definitely going to ask for a trade, and he has. It's confirmed, basically. Teams are interested. I know the Rams and the Patriots are certainly interested. And if there is an offer out there for a 1 pick and a 3 pick, then Philadelphia is going to answer that call. And quite frankly, I wouldn't blame them for answering that call. I know they want a similar haul that that previous teams got with Dallas, for example, got with Quinnen Williams, where they gave up a first-round pick for him. I think they're looking for a first-round pick for A.J. Brown, and the Rams potentially are offering that 13th pick, and the Patriots are offering that high-end first-round pick of number 31. So it's just a matter of which devil do you want to feed? Do you want the late first-round pick and trade him at a conference, or do you want to trade him in conference to a team that's contending for a Super Bowl just like you are, but you get a really, really high-end first-round pick? I would trade him to the Rams at that point. I think, if you're going to get the 13th pick, that's the asset that you can use to really, really build your roster and get 2 key players to make you a contender long-term again. So point being is this A.J. Brown trade is going to happen. It's just a matter of whether or not it's going to happen before June 1st or after June 1st. I have a feeling it's going to be after June 1st because that saves the Philadelphia Eagles the most money on their cap. You bringing in Dallas Goedert, you don't have that void contract deal where you save $20 million, or at least it gets kicked and spread over the next couple of years. And then if you trade A.J. Brown after June 1st, you basically save a good amount of cap. I think it ends up freeing up. Hold on, I'm looking at it on AI. Give me one moment. I have a thread here. So, yeah, if you extend Dallas Goedert, and maybe better yet, let me just share my screen so people don't think I'm making a fib here. Okay, so if you extend Dallas Goedert and you trade A.J. Brown post June 1, the implication is that you could potentially save $20 million on the cap hit, and you would be hit with a $24 million cap hit as opposed to keeping both or letting Dallas Goedert walk and keeping Brown. So this middle option is obviously the way Philadelphia is going to go about business here. They're going to save $20 million potentially on the cap, and you keep Dallas Goedert a reliable target for Jalen Hurts in a new system that's tight end friendly. And this also goes to show how much faith they have in Devontae Smith, who I believe is also a superstar caliber wide receiver in terms of his skill set. I think he has the ability. Has he proven that yet? No, but he has the ability to go ahead and do so. And I think Philadelphia really trusts Devontae Smith to be able to take on the wide receiver 1 mantle. And if that's the case, you could take a disgruntled asset like A.J. Brown, and I apologize using the word asset in this sense because he is a human being and he is an athlete. But nonetheless, we're talking about this in terms of just a player on a football team. You take a talented player like A.J. Brown, and if you could exchange him for potential draft capital, and I'm not really big on trading great players for great picks, but Howie's track record, at least these past 3-4 drafts, have been pretty good. And I'm sure they're very confident in what they're going to do in the draft. So the more picks that they can accumulate, and getting rid of a player who's disgruntled in your system, as great as he is, might just be the thing that gives this offense a little bit more of a breathing room to be able to just play ball. Right now, there's one less mouth to feed, and you bring in Goddard back. You have Devontae Smith, who's going to get the touches. And I mean, if you look at some of these great football teams, like the Chiefs and the Patriots, for example, they really don't have a lot of Great weapons. They have the one guy where it's Travis Kelce or Rob Gronkowski at tight end, the guy that you have to get the ball to in key spots. And they usually have one reliable target on the outside, Devontae Smith for Philadelphia, Dallas Goedert in the middle. And then, Patriots was, Rob Gronkowski and Julian Edelman, who was working the slot on the outside. In Kansas City, for a brief time, it was Tariq Hill and Travis Kelce. And if it wasn't that, it was Travis Kelce and, Rashee Rice or Schuster and company. A lot of the times you don't need 2, 3, 4 great pass catching targets in an offense. Unless you have a prolific passer like the Rams do in Stafford, or what Brady was in 2007, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees. Those guys can get the ball to anybody on the field because they're just that great at visualizing the field. And say what you want about Jalen Hurts, he's not necessarily that kind of guy. I can admit that as being a Jalen Hurts fan for sure. He's not necessarily the most prolific passer in the NFL. Can he get the job done? Yes, but that's not the point. The point being is having one less mouth to feed in an offensive system may just help the quarterback out by saying, you know what, throw it to the open guy. Don't worry about getting AJ his touches, and then Devontae his touches, and Goddard his touches, and Barkley his touches. Just run the offense. Go out there, fling the ball, and get the job done. And I think that's maybe the direction Philadelphia wants to go with this. It clears the lineup a little bit. It just clears the pecking order a little bit more once you trade A.J. Brown. And when you do it after June 1st, it just saves you more money. And it's just a matter of whether or not you get a 1 and a 3 from the Rams or a 1 and 3 from the Patriots, or potentially some other offer that gets put out there. Or again, I don't anticipate this happening anymore, but maybe in some way, no deal gets done and he comes back for at least one more run in a new offense. And at that point, then you have all your weapons back and you have all the players that you need on the offense to go ahead and make a potential run in the NFC. And maybe then I would have changed my tune as to what I think about this Philadelphia Eagles football team. Because right now, I said it in the last episode, I still believe it. I don't think we're in contention yet. I feel we're a 9-win team. And again, it's way too early. We haven't had the draft yet. We haven't really made any particular moves outside of bringing in Tariq Woolen and signing Dallas Goedert back. Again, it smells like a 9-win team to me. And I just think there's a lot of change in the coaching staff. I think there's a lot of change in Philadelphia happening right now. And I know they're trying to mitigate it, but in the NFC, where the Niners got better, the Rams are going to get better, the Seahawks just won the damn thing. Dallas is getting better. Washington's not going to be as bad. They're going to be a tough go. I don't anticipate them winning more than 9 games, but nonetheless, they're there. And then the Giants, they split with us last season, and they got better. They got better coaching staff, and they got better players now. So the NFC East is getting better. Philadelphia, in my opinion, has taken a step back, and they're going to take another step back once they trade A.J. Brown, but it might be for the betterment of the team. I've come to that realization. I've come to that conclusion. As much as I love having A.J. Brown on this team, it may just be time for a new chapter and a new story for him. So it doesn't necessarily mean that we are going to be a better football team and that we're not going to long for a receiver like A.J. Brown once again in Philadelphia. However, if that's how the cookie crumbles, that is how the cookie crumbles. And me, I'm a fat ass. I'm going to eat the cookie crumbles as it comes. So that's just what it is. So that's what this Dallas Goedert signing means. It means A.J. Brown is definitely going to be gone. It's just a matter of when, not if. More likely than not after June 1, and whether it's to the Rams in conference or if it's to the Patriots or some other team outside of the conference, yet to be seen. I would love to see a surprise deal where we get a player in exchange for him, but that's not, I don't think that's going to happen. That's in like a pipe dream type of world. But yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below as I'm rambling as this episode is ending. Dallas Goedert's back. Tariq Woolen's in Philadelphia, which is nice. But the big implication is that this Dallas Goedert signing just means that A.J. Brown is out in Philadelphia. And it's just a matter of where. And when that happens, we will talk about that at some point in time. But with that being said, please, everybody, stay safe. Enjoy your day. Don't get sick. As you can tell, I sound nasally because I am stuffy. But be well, be safe, and we'll talk to you back here next time at the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. Go Birds.
Hey. Thank you so much for watching the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast. If you want to continue to support the channel, please hit the like and subscribe button down below. Also, check us out on Instagram and TikTok at Riding the Bench Eagles Pod. We're also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, you name it, we're on there. Thank you so much for listening, and please join us next time here at the Riding the Bench Eagles podcast.